What is good, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy King. We are back again today, guys. We're about to react to Andrew Tate, his first interview back in the world, guys. Obviously, he was going to get interviewed by Matt Shea, trolled him, tried to get the dude to bring him a box of chocolates. That didn't work out, but here we are, about to see how this plays out. Interestingly, my opinion on the whole case so far, with the evidence produced, we all understand intrinsically that there is some level of crime committed. Whether that is the evidence is strong enough for him to be prosecuted within the definitions of the crimes committed is unknown. We're gonna wait to see what the verdict is at the end of this 30 days. So probably at the end of June, we're gonna figure out exactly what's about to happen to him, because it's gonna be his 6 months is gonna be up, and yeah, they either have to shit or get off the toilet. So yeah, I don't know how this is gonna go, but I can't wait to find out, honestly. Very interesting setup this time. He's got a female interviewer, and I'm guessing he probably picked a female interviewer for specific reasons, because I'm assuming he feels like his masculine energy is gonna be enough to, dominate and steamroll any, intrinsic questions she has for him. So let's see. I may be wrong. Who knows? But let us see. Wagwan. I'm excited for this. This is about to get spicy. Let's go.
Andrew Tate,
Andrew?
you've agreed to do an interview with the BBC today.
Yep.
The material is going to be published on television, on radio, online.
Perfect.
We are doing an interview with you because you're facing some very serious allegations, rape, human trafficking,
Yep.
and also because there's a great deal of concern about the things you say and the impact that they have on young people, on women.
I don't think the concern's about the things I say. I think the concern is for the level of influence I have and the reach I have. I would argue that
I think, just off what he said, first of all, that is, again, factual statement. She said the things he says, facts. It's because of the things he says. But again, he's factually correct as well, because of the influence he has, because the things he says affects and influences the demographic he has, which is the young male population. And if people want the people in charge, if they want the population to go a certain direction in the future, as we can see with all the different agendas going on in the world, especially in the West right now, then it's not gonna go their way if they have this guy online inspiring men to do, make money, become more masculine, not take shit, become strong, independent thinkers, have their own free will, treat everyone they meet with respect, but still hold themselves to a standard and hold the people around them to a standard. So it's gonna be interesting.
a lot of the things that are already out there inside of the legacy media and the matrix as a whole are far more damaging than the things I say.
It's the concern about the influence you have being a harmful influence, but let's start with the allegations.
Not necessarily
That's
a
true.
harmful influence. The fact that I'm massively influential over.
Yes, again, this is the thing, that the harmful part is the is the interesting thing, because the depiction of what is harmful is the part that is wrong. They're trying to, this whole toxic masculinity wave is, they're trying to make inherent masculine traits toxic, which is not true. They should not be toxic. There's just toxic people, and toxic people should be referred to as such, toxic people, not toxic masculine, toxic feminine, toxic. They're just toxic people. Point blank, period. And there could be toxic people in all the different communities. All of them. None are excluded.
The youth, and I understand that, but it's my influence as a whole which people are afraid of, not necessarily the things I say.
Let's start with the allegations. Have you raped anybody?
Absolutely not.
Ooh.
Have you trafficked anybody?
Absolutely not.
Exploited any women for
Absolutely
money?
not.
But you have admitted using emotional manipulation to
Deny, deny, deny,
get
deny.
women to work in the webcam industry for you.
No. Firstly, let's
Woo! This is interesting. Again, like, ooh, when you start to get definitions out here, man. When you have to be getting definitions out here, man. So we don't mess this up, and we keep it factual. Let's just get that definition of manipulation. The action of manipulating someone in a skillful manner. Okay, the action of manipulating someone. Okay, manipulating. Let's try and see if we can, to handle or control a tool, mechanism, information, etc. in a skillful manner. Okay. To control or influence somebody. Cleverly or unscrupulously. So essentially, it's basically being able to convince someone to do something that is in your best interest as an individual. But manipulation could be one of two folds. Could be good or bad because, again, the definition itself is not inherently a negative term, but the word manipulation has garnered a negative connotation. But people can manipulate in good ways and people can manipulate in bad ways. People can manipulate others to become their best selves by ensuring that they become more productive and become, functioning members of society. Whereas others could influence people to do the wrong things or manipulate people to do wrong things, i.e., commit crimes, do things people don't really want to do. But then again, sometimes people don't really want to do positive things for themselves either. So it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one. So again, is there manipulation? Most likely. Again, it just depends on how you look at the word manipulation itself and how it constitutes the outcomes for the individuals. If you looking at manipulation is saying, he obviously manipulated them to do what he thought was in his best interest and their best interest. They both came out, richer for it. Is it a win-win? Some people might look at that as she won, he won, it's all good. But other people might look at it like he convinced her to do something she was never comfortable doing. Even though she made a bit of money, it's not enough for the stuff that she's done to garner, the stuff that she's done. It's a very slippery slope, man. You can literally sit here and argue this back and forth.
Let's start at the beginning. I'm facing charges. The first one you mentioned, the rape one, has already been thrown out by a judge because there's no evidence of it. Secondly, it's very
dropping the facts.
difficult for me to sit here and have a very frank and honest conversation with you while we're in.
Look at the eye contact, bro. She came on smoke. She said, "I ain't playing games, bruh. I ain't playing games, so you know who I am." Jeez.
Territory of Romania about
Don't play with me.
I have to protect myself. I've agreed to do an interview with you, and I want to be as honest with you as possible. But I can't incriminate myself in any way, and I have to be very careful with what I talk about.
Don't lie.
There are no charges yet.
Correct. There are no charges.
Has said that
There are no
more
charges,
evidence
and I've agreed to speak to you. But I have to be as honest and frank as I can while
She there trying to steer the conversation. You see him?
also protecting myself and following my legal counsel.
So let's talk about what you've said yourself then. You have said on the website, for your original website for the Hustle University,
well researched,
that you emotionally manipulated women
he did
to fall in love with you so that you could get them working in the sex industry for your financial gain.
As
modern
I
day
said,
Casanova. He did.
I have to be very careful with what I say, but let's put it this way. No women are coming out against me and accusing me of doing it.
Yes, they are.
Well, they are.
Yes, they are.
No,
They're
not.
two American women.
There's testimony from the current investigation.
The current investigation,
other
which I
women
cannot
who
discuss,
spoke.
which I know intimately and you don't, I can tell you right
I know intimately, and you don't.
now that the
Period.
women who are in this case file, there are 2 American women who have been caught already admitting they're lying, and then nobody else is accusing me of anything.
To begin with, it's very common in cases.
Look, I feel like these things obviously happened pre-Muslim Islam arc for Tate. So I wonder if, obviously post-Islam, he's, thought about his actions in the past and said, you know what, that was wrong. I need to move forward and win this case. If I beat this case, I ain't gonna, fall back into my old ways. We'll see how that goes. But it seems like, obviously he does not want to incriminate himself because he is in a sticky situation where his own words are being used against him, because he did admit to, being this playboy who can get women to do things that he wants them to do.
Cases like this, that the alleged victims do not always see themselves as victims.
Well, that's very interesting.
That is very interesting, because that the laws, especially in Romania in this case, are set up in such a way that if the state deems you to be a victim, regardless of whether you yourself think you're not a victim, by their constitution, you're a victim. So it's like all the people on the case could say we're not victims, and the courts will still be like, by our definitions, you are victims, and you can't convince us otherwise.
It's actually extremely interesting because if I was a matrix-controlled organization and my goal was to slander somebody and try and destroy their name, you're telling me that they've chosen a crime which, one, is heinous, of course, because it damages the person's credibility. And two,
And this is funny because this is the same thing that's happened to Jonathan Majors recently with his case, where his girl tried to walk it back with the police department and said, look, 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 you know, I'm gonna walk it back, da 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 da. But then, you know, the head person or the DA or whatever went ahead with the case and said, F it, there's enough evidence here to prosecute this dude, so we're gonna do that, even though the lady in question was like, no, I'm not a victim. But apparently other women came out of the woodwork, who knows from where. But yeah,
you're saying that even if everyone else
We'll
involved,
see.
if you have 5 people and everyone's sitting there saying, no, nobody's hurt anybody, we like Andrew, we've all worked together, or we're friends, etc.
That's not what everybody's saying.
No.
Let me read
Apart
you
from
some
the two
testimony
women,
from
everyone
the
is saying
court
that.
investigation.
Can I finish this?
One of the witnesses said...
Can I finish, please?
You're not
Ooh. To be honest, you should give him grace and let him finish for getting the interview and let him obviously talk his points, because again, the best thing you can do as an interviewer is allow someone to talk and allow them to trap themselves in the words they say. If you're an interviewer, just make sure you're taking notes on everything this person is saying in the moment they're saying it, so that you can catch them out if they say some dumb stuff. Obviously, Tate is well versed in the art of communication, so it'd be interesting to see if he can fall, if you'd fall in that trap. But her trying to battle him back and forth is just not gonna work well for this
answering the
Can I
interview.
question I've
finish,
asked
please?
you. You're not answering the question I've
I am
asked
answering
you.
the question. You're
Let
saying,
me read you the
you're
testimony of
saying,
one of the witnesses.
you're saying the people who are involved in this, even if they say they're not victims, that they're still going to try and attack me and
They
pretend
are
they're victims.
treated as victims by the case
They're low,
that's
yeah.
ongoing. And not all of them are saying that. One of the witnesses says... You,
We can't just we can't go into the case. The case is open and active.
Woo! Even the people are like, her team were like, Lacey, you need to chill, bro. You need to chill. You know the stipulations of the interview. Calm down. Calm down. This is my man. Look at that sigh of relief. You can see my man's breathing. He's breathing oxygen, finally. He's breathing oxygen. Before this point, he was breathing nitrogen. My guy was like stressed.
well, let's just be clear that not all of the witnesses
Assume the
in this
position.
case are behaving in the way you describe. And even those that are, it doesn't bar them from being treated as victims by the prosecution.
How very convenient, he's going to say.
We have an open criminal investigation. I am absolutely not really sure I'll be found innocent. I know the case better than you. I know it intimately and you don't. I have seen all the criminal files and the evidence against me and you haven't. I know the truth of what happened and you don't. And I'm telling you absolutely not really, I've never hurt anybody, that the case that's been put against me is completely not...
Like, again, this is very interesting. Like, I think, again, I don't think he's hurt people, like, to the point, like, instinctually. I feel like he hasn't, like, obviously, I'm not going on evidence or anything, but just from seeing his demeanor and how he treats people and how he acts around people, you know, I feel like he may use like seduction methods to talk to women to get them to do what he wants, but I don't think he's laying hands on women, like slapping them up and whatnot. But who knows? I could be wrong.
Fabricated, and I'm never going to be found guilty of anything. And it's very difficult for me to answer your in-depth questions because we're sitting here inside of the territory of Romania. I'm beholden to the Romanian legal system, and I'm not going to incriminate myself because you're trying to prod me. You are wrong, and we're going to have to accept that for now and ask and talk about something else.
Let me read you then what you have said about what you have done.
Sure.
You have said, my job was to meet a girl, go on a few dates, sleep with her,
Yep.
get her to fall in love with me to the point where she
Yep.
did anything I said.
He even said this in some of the videos himself. He said, "Look, I don't even care about these girls. All I care about is the money. That's the money. The money is what I care about. So having to do all these things with the girls is just it's like, I'm like James Bond," he said. "I'm like James Bond. I'm just doing this to use them to get to the money because I'm a G. That's what I do." Da-da-da-da. Fair enough. Has he changed his position? Who knows? Since his conversion, who knows? But let's see how this proceeds.
Say, and then get her on webcam so we could become rich together.
I don't think that's what I personally said. I think
That's
that's...
See, rich together doesn't sound too bad, to be honest. Rich together doesn't sound too bad because a lot of people would rather be, you know, rich together than poor alone. So it don't sound too bad. But again, convincing someone to do something that's out of the norm, you know, would be considered manipulation, especially to get someone who's never done things in that industry and get them to do things in that industry. It's different if you're getting seasoned workers in the industry to come work for you. But if you're getting people who've never been in the industry and putting them in the industry, then yeah, it's tougher. And the fact that I'm assuming he used that model because, again, people who are fresh to the industry don't know how the industry works. So it's easier for you as the person who's leading that relationship to control, i.e., the finances, to control everything that is happening within that relationship. And that person feels dependent on you because they see now they're living lavish, they're having a great life. So they think, oh, wow, this is really working out for me and him, which in fact it is. But obviously, he still retains a level of control that he would probably not retain if he had someone who was seasoned in the industry and would demand maybe contracts or checks up front. Because if with his method relied on him being intimate with the girls, becoming like almost boyfriend and girlfriend, to where it's just a girlfriend and a boyfriend doing a little business thing on the side by themselves. They don't need a contract. Why do we need a contract? Just boyfriend and girlfriend, you know. Why do we need a contract? It's just boyfriend and girlfriend.
Exactly what
No,
you said
that's
on your
that's
website.
that's no. I've never said that. That's something that you found on the internet. Doesn't mean I've said it.
In
And
your
and again, once again, if any female on the planet has a problem with me, I strongly recommend her to go to the police and try and pursue me for criminal charges. It's actually very interesting that me, one of the most famous people in the world, who's been vilified by the legacy media and places all over the internet, while everyone has attacked me from every single angle, while federal agencies from multiple countries have called over 2,000 women who know me, we stand here with 0 new accusations since my arrest. 0. If you took any famous person, any man of substantial wealth, and you called 2,000 women who knew him, he'd find an ex-girlfriend is upset, somebody who wants money who's upset. They called 2,000 people who knew me and could not find a single woman to make a new complaint.
The BBC
The only complaints they have against me are the initial complaints, which we can prove are lies, and that's where it stands. So I'm not going to sit here and allow you to pretend that I'm some kind of evil predator, when actually I'd argue the fact that people who've been investigated to the level I've been investigated to, if you were to take the average man on the street and investigate his entire life for 14 months, call everyone who's ever known him, and vilify him in the media, and encourage people to come forward from
Yeah, a lot of people, there would be something that they would find like at one point in your life, you've done something wrong. And there's a trail somewhere, somehow, someone will catch that. And, you know, people being cancelled for things they've done 10, 15 years ago, bro. I'm telling you, it's savage out here in these streets, man. Cancel culture is real.
money, and you're trying to contact every
You
ex-girlfriend
think
that's ever
you
had.
would come forward and accuse those people of rape and accuse those
I
people
think that
of
you would have a lot more.
manipulation?
I think you would have a lot more flack than I've got. I'm actually such a nice person that
The
I've never had
BBC has
anyone come at
spoken
me.
to somebody since your arrest who says exactly those things, that with you it's all manipulation, there's an ulterior
Is this
motive
Sophie?
to everything
Is this
you've
Sophie?
done.
Oh, it's Sophie.
Ah! He called it out by name. Oh, Lord. He called it out by name. Man is prepared. He is ready. He knows. He knows. He was prepared.
The fake name, no face,
I was so
the
intent
story that
on
was
wanting
invented.
to please him and wanting him to be happy that I was just kind of, yeah, okay, do whatever you want.
And what has she
That's
accused?
what
Has
I
she
did.
accused me of a crime? This imaginary Sophie?
She's making the point that there is
Has she accused me of a crime?
emotional or psychological manipulation.
I've asked you a question, and I've allowed you into my house.
I'm asking you a question.
Correct, but you're not the boss here because I've allowed you into my.
Woo! Man leaned forward. This is why he picked a woman. Because he leaned forward and he's now posturing. He's leaning forward, showing his dominant energy. As Caesar Milan would say, the dog whisperer. He's leaning forward and, you know, trying to show his dominant energy. And she's, you know, I wonder if she's going to behold to the circumstances of the situation of, you know, you are in my house. And I could end this interview at any moment, so cooperate.
My house
I'm asking you the question.
correctly, and I'm telling you,
You get to decide the answers.
no, we're equal.
Ooh, the sign broke down. The sign broke down.
I've allowed you into my house. You don't come here with a position of authority. I'm doing you the favor as legacy media, giving you relevance by speaking to you. And I'm telling you now, this Sophie, which the BBC has invented, which there's no face of, nobody knows who she is.
The
and
BBC did not invent
Of
her.
course not. And because you never invent anything. And she is not fought.
The media, again, we have to always assume, again, don't, if you know, you know, about 10% of people in media work for some type of governmental organization, i.e. MI5, CIA, whatnot, to try and push certain agendas that are beneficial for the, you know, for the world governments and the global elite. If you sit there and have a position where it's like, no, they're not, you're dumb.
She's not filed criminal charges against me. What are we talking about here? What is she
We're talking
saying?
about emotional manipulation
Has
into
she-
the sex industry for your financial gain.
Absolute garbage. She has not filed criminal. This person, if they exist, has not filed criminal charges against me. I welcome anybody who believes I've harmed them, male or female, any point in the past, to file criminal charges against me, and I will fight them. I know who I am, and I know what I've done, and I know the truth, and I know that I'll be found innocent of this attack. The reason I'm being attacked is because of my massive influence, not because I've ever hurt anybody. And for you to sit here and say that everybody around you is saying you're innocent, but that doesn't matter because the state will say they're victims, and they're just going to grab everybody you know and call everybody victims. even if they say they're not, and try and put you in jail, you are describing a matrix attack. You're not describing human trafficking.
I'm describing women who are going to court to accuse you of rape and human trafficking.
We will see what women go. We will see what women go to court.
This is interesting because the two women in question have not come back to proceed with the case. That's why this case has dragged on for so long. They have left the country. They all went on their holidays. They're not coming back. If they come back to Romania, it will be a miracle if they come to Romania to take the stand in a court case. And if they do, I hope they Johnny Depp it so we can all watch it live. Holy, that would be so sick.
Can I finish, please?
We'll see which women go.
Can I finish, please?
He knows because these women are they're not in contact with the Romanian authorities, and they're gone, they're in the wind. They did their thing and they left.
We'll see which women go to court.
I'm describing women who are going to court to accuse you of rape and human
Sophie hasn't gone to court. Sophie doesn't exist.
I'm describing women who have spoken to the BBC at length.
Sophie doesn't exist.
And other media organisations about what they say
Interesting
is
defense.
manipulation, coercion. And I'm quoting back to you your own words where you describe
They're not my words.
Coercion.
They're words
manipulation.
you found on the internet, and Sophie doesn't exist.
On your
so let's move on to the
website,
next
in
subject.
your voice.
Move on to the next subject.
No, I think I'll stick on this.
That's true. It was on your website, bro. I don't know why you're trying to skirt this, because obviously he's not trying to incriminate himself. That's why he's skirting it. But it was on his website. We can all verify that. It is what it is.
On for a minute. So there's other places in that same website where you say you get girls to fall in love with you and they do it because they love you, because they want to do what you say. Convincing women to take part in some kind of business arrangement doesn't work long term because they're emotional. You've got to get them to fall in love with you.
Once
That's
again,
coercion, that's emotional manipulation, that's abuse.
what you've found are clips from the internet, some text from the internet, and you're going to sit here and tell me that that's the reason I should be.
Your website, your words.
It's not my website.
Yes, it is.
Ooh, man said deny. That's his website. Why is he denying this? That's his website. HU, that's that. Bro, that's yours. You've been screaming about this for the whole time. That's you. HU works. Granted, it works. It has the desired result, which is helping you become financially independent. It works. But to sit there and say it's not your website, that's wild.
No, it's
That's
not.
wild.
Check my website. Next.
I said my new website. My new website. Not the old one. That's old news. That's in the past. The past doesn't matter. Looking forward. We're looking forward.
It's the website you've taken down, and I wonder why those comments have been taken down.
No website's been taken down. My website is the same. It's been the same for a very long time.
The comments on this
Ooh, my mind is using the psyop. Ooh, it's been the same. It's never changed.
website, on the original website, have been taken down, and I wonder why.
You are accusing me.
This is, again, it's manipulation. Tate understands it's manipulation. Even the way he speaks is manipulation to a certain extent. The way he calls guys brokies is to make you think that, look, I am a brokey. I need to elevate myself. I do need to make myself better. It is manipulation, but in that sense, it's a positive manipulation. Some people might take it negatively, as some people do take things that are not negatively. Some people are just like that. It is what it is. What can you do? But, it's rough.
You're accusing me, and you're trying to say that I'm guilty of the things I'm accused of, and I'm emotionally manipulating people.
I'm saying that you have said...
Everybody manipulates everybody, bro. Your boss tries to manipulate you to get more productivity out of you. You try to manipulate your parents to give you more money. You try to manipulate your parents to let you go out. You try to manipulate everybody. Kids try to lie at the age of 3, 4. Like, manipulation it happens. People want to get that way. But is that hurting other people? That's the key. If it's hurting other people, it's wrong. If it's not hurting anyone, we're good. If it's hurting other people, rough. That's wrong.
Emotionally manipulated people here for your own financial gain.
No, absolutely not.
And I'm asking you about that.
Absolutely not is the answer. I look forward to the end of this trial. I look forward to clearing my name.
Yes, he manipulated the ladies for his financial gain, but also for partially their financial gain, because they did gain from it. If all the women he worked with were all like extorted out of all their money, I'm pretty sure there'll be a larger pool of women coming out saying F this dude. But a lot of them probably made a lot of money that they probably would never have made without him. So they kind of do owe him a bit of gratitude in the sense that he elevated their lifestyles and or their livelihoods.
See in the legacy media having to say not guilty and having to tell the truth. As I've said before, the only other person who's been found, despite absolute rigorous, destructive levels of investigation
And scrutiny.
prodding into my life, is this imaginary Sophie by the BBC who doesn't exist. And if you were to find any single other man on earth and try and analyze his life forensically to the level they've done mine, you would find genuine damage to people. I don't hurt people.
It's not just
Thousands of women have come out in my
allegations.
defense. Thousands of women have come out in my defense, and you've not mentioned that. Thousands of women come out in my defense.
Because the problem is when women accuse you of serious crimes
Yo.
and emotional
But
manipulation.
let's agree that
that's
thousands
the
of women.
problem.
Let's agree that
It's not the
thousands.
problem that some people say you haven't done it. It's a problem that some people say you have.
Thousands of women come out.
Ooh, okay. Ooh, some and some. See, she tries to equate the two as, equal levels, where he's saying more people have talked about me and being an honorable man and being a man of good character than there are people who've spoken about me in a negative light, both men and women. So for you to sit here and say, this and the other, like after combing through thousands of people, you're telling me you could only two are able to come out and say that I'm this, that, and the other.
Out my defense, and as we stand right
Oof,
now, we
this
have
is rough.
open criminal investigation. The people who are involved in the criminal investigation are saying that we're not victims of anything. Andrew's fine, he's never hurt us. You're saying no, I have the opposite to that, I have to counter that. I have someone called Sophie with no face, a fake name, who we've invented, and she's not accusing you of anything criminal. So I don't see the whole point
You
you're trying to
say
make
you
here.
manipulate women, they say you manipulate women. Why wouldn't people think you do?
I'm not here. Do you think I'm manipulating you?
I'm asking you about the testimony you've given on your website and the testimony
No,
women have given
you've
about
printed
you.
something off that you found on Reddit, and you're going to sit here and say that that makes me a bad person. I'm saying that you should know better as a journalist and do some proper journalism. Let's
Ah,
see
he's
what's-
lying. This guy.
I already have, and we should move on. She's just trying to start an argument.
It's not only about the criminal allegations. It's a much bigger issue.
This is
You've
jokes.
got children's organisations in the UK, you've got rape organisations in the UK, you've got the police naming you by name as someone who has a harmful influence on children and on women in the UK and elsewhere because of the things you say, because of the way
This thing about harmful influence, guys. I think it's so wild that men having, or in this case, let's talk about this before allegations or anything, before anything came out, allegations or whatnot. The greater message at large from Andrew is for men to elevate themselves, create a brotherhood for themselves, which promotes their excellence and keeping them as sharp as they can be, being masculine men who go after what they want and don't tolerate BS. They don't tolerate low quality individual around them, men and women. And that is a destructive message. Think about it. That is a destructive message. No, that is not a destructive message. The message itself is not a destructive message. Spoken by any other person, even the Bible. Let me just, you have me quoting scripture now. You have me quoting scripture. Okay. This is from, let's see here. Let's get this up. Boom. There we go. Let's see here. This is just, it's so what? Why am I having to post scripture here? This is wild. This is wild. Like, I'm having to pull up scripture. Like, this is going to be from 2 Timothy. There we go. Let's see if I can get this up. Why is this thing is failing me? Hold on. Oh, I can't get it up. Oh, no. This is failing me. Why is this failing me? See, the matrix is working. The matrix is working hard to stop this from happening. Hold on, let's just proceed, and then I'll check this out again
you present
in a bit while I look for this.
gender relations, the way you say men should treat women.
That's very upsetting. And the reason that's very upsetting is because I know that's not true. I'm genuinely a good person. I believe my impact on the world is positive. In fact, if you were to read the comment section of nearly any video I post, especially by the legacy media, 95% of the population agree with me. Most people know that the things I say are positive. Legacy media as a whole has lost all its credibility in the last 3 to 4 years. Nobody believes it. And it's a shame, it's a massive shame that the BBC come here and try and push and purport this idea that I'm a dangerous person.
I'm
anti-drugs. I've never pushed drugs or any, I'm anti-drugs, I'm anti-violence. The UK is facing a knife crime epidemic, and they're going to sit here and say that I'm the most dangerous man in the UK.
You have said you're the most dangerous man in the world.
I've said I'm the most dangerous man in the world.
You've also said that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner. I'm glad you find that funny.
I find it funny that you're sitting here saying that I've said I'm the most dangerous man in the world, and you believe that's...
He did say that, but obviously he probably said that in satire, and that is not to be taken seriously. I think we can all use a bit of critical thinking and assess that he was joking, but... You know.
When did I say that?
I'm asking if you believe it.
No, you said you're the most dangerous man in the world. Is that some kind of proof that I'm dangerous? Am I Dr. Evil now? I'm telling you that it's very upsetting that you're going to sit here and that certain organizations in the world are going to try and pretend that I'm the biggest force of evil on earth when I'm genuinely a force for good. I'm genuinely a force for good. And the reason they're doing this is because of the massive influence I have over the youth, and they don't like that I'm telling the youth to think outside of the matrix and ignore things like the BBC, which come here with loaded questions and false narratives and try and paint innocent people as guilty.
You've said women's intimate parts belong to their male partner.
I said that if a woman marries a man, she takes his last name and traditionally the man gives her away. I've been pushing traditional religious beliefs, because I'm a religious man, and traditional beliefs in regards to marriage, which everybody accepted 10 to 15 years ago.
So
that's not a crazy conspiracy theory.
That's true.
If you're going to sit here and say that me believing a woman should take a man's last name in marriage.
Okay, this was the scripture I was going to pull up. I finally found it. Here we go. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 1 to 5, okay? This know also, that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boastful, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness but denying the power thereof. From such turn away. Even the Bible tells you to turn away from low-quality people if they are not seeking the right path or seeking to better themselves. If they don't have an intrinsic understanding of their position and willing to improve themselves. The Bible tells you this. And he's telling you this. Avoid low-quality people who are going to hold you back, who don't want to progress in life. And that's a negative message. I beg, come on. This is mad.
Last name, and traditionally the man gives her away. I've been pushing.
That's true. She probably has her husband's last name. And she sits there interviewing this man.
Traditional religious beliefs, because I'm a religious man, and traditional beliefs in regards to marriage, which everybody accepted 10 to 15 years ago.
So
That's true. Even in Africa, as archaic as it sounds, in a lot of countries, people still pay dowry. Like, we're acting like we're so beyond this concept of, a man taking a woman on in his family as he is the leader of the household. Like, in a lot of the world, almost the majority of the world, this is the dynamic that is still prevalent.
That's not a crazy conspiracy theory. If you're going to sit here and say that me believing a woman should take a man's last name in marriage makes me the most dangerous man in the world, then you're just going to lose even more credibility than the BBC's already lost in the last 4 to 5 years. If that's your point, if that's your narrative you want to push,
say that
good
men
luck.
should be able to sleep with a lot of women outside marriage. That doesn't sound very religious or very conservative.
That's not what I said they should be able to. I said a lot of high-value men, a lot of rich men do it.
They do it.
We discussed at length on podcasts why rich men do it. And we also discussed why...
That is true. They do it. And they do discuss why they do it. And for her to sit there and say, but that's what they do. That's literally what they do.
Why women decide to be unfaithful. It's not a gendered argument. We discussed unfaithfulness as a whole. What are the reasons and motivations for men? And what are the reasons and motivations for women? Because you have no time to actually, watch my content. Because you have no time to actually watch my content at length. and understand what I'm saying. You just come here with a small snippet, which we provided to you on a
Saying it
piece of
3
paper.
times doesn't make it true.
No, really, you don't have a clue what I say or what I talk about. You never watch my content. You have small pieces of paper, small clips on a piece of paper, and you're trying to pretend I've said evil things. And then you're going to say I'm the most dangerous man in the world, which is truly laughable.
You said that.
Yay! He did say that, but come on, let's use some critical thinking. You said you're dangerous. There's a lot of things we all say that are not true. For you to take everybody's word without the nuance of sarcasm or, you know, satire into perspective, it's so stupid.
Do you believe I'm the most
say-
dangerous man in the world, Lucy?
I'm not answering your questions.
Well then we need to change the dynamic of this interview because, and I'll make this clear, I allowed you into my home. I'm doing you a favor, giving you the first interview I'm giving to the public. You don't come here with a position of authority. You're not the police. I don't respect the BBC. I don't know you. You do not come here with a position of authority over me. We are equals. We are people. We're citizens of the world, and we sit here as equals. And I see you as my equal. And if you ask me questions, I can ask you questions back. For you to come here and sit down and pretend you're the Gestapo and that you don't have to answer my questions is disingenuous because I don't owe you anything.
Asking questions and you answer.
But I don't owe
however you want.
This is a conversation, and I don't owe you any degree of authority over me. So
Lord!
here, and that doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or from the BBC or the CNN. I'm here to answer your questions and be honest with you and do you a favor.
Correct.
And I'm doing you a favor. But you come here with loaded questions. You're trying to paint a narrative of me which is negative.
I'm asking you
And
about
that's
things
fine.
you've said that people are concerned about.
And that's fine.
You
But you're
have
not
said
going to sit
a
here and say you
woman's-
don't answer my questions because you're not above me.
This is also not supposed to be a third degree, it's supposed to be a conversation.
Absolutely.
Well, it would help if you answered the question.
I've answered every question so far.
Let me ask you another question.
Sure.
Wow.
You have
He has answered the questions. Not the way you want him to answer the questions, but he's answered the questions.
said that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner, and if she goes on OnlyFans, he is entitled to a cut of her income.
You are
Yes, this was a scenario in which it was posed to him. What would you do if you couldn't leave your partner and she wanted to do OnlyFans? The only way for him to have some level of respect in that relationship is to get the money. He wouldn't do that himself, as he said. He'd probably just leave before that happens, you know. Otherwise, he's taking the money.
extremely, it's actually very confusing to me why you're going to sit here, take long format podcasts I've done, which are 3 or 4 hours long, in context where I've sat with OnlyFans girls, 10 or 15 OnlyFans girls, where we've been joking back and forth, ignore every comment and satirical comment and sarcastic comment that the females have made, and then come along and say, you said this and you're the most evil man in the world. I don't know if you understand what sarcasm
Did you
is.
say it?
I don't know if you understand what sarcasm is. I don't know if you understand what context is. I don't know if you understand what satirical
So you're
comments
saying
are.
it's
That's true.
sarcastic?
I'm saying it was a very interesting talk show. And for you to sit here and say that that is my true core beliefs and that makes me a
Is
bad
it?
person is disingenuous.
Is it?
Of course not.
Was it sarcasm?
Absolutely. You should watch the show.
You were being sarcastic
You should-
when you said. Let me
you
just
should-
clarify.
you should
okay?
watch the show.
Let me clarify.
Oh, this is getting
You were
sticky.
being sarcastic
No, he was being truthful in the fact that, you know, if he can't leave the relationship, he needs to be compensated for his dissatisfaction in that relationship.
when you said a woman's intimate parts belong to her male partner.
That's the reason you get in relationships anyway, so you have intimate parts to share with each other. If those intimate parts go to everyone else, that defeats the exclusivity of that relationship. You might as well just have an open relationship and call it a day. There's no point. There is no bond or intimacy or sacred connection. It's just like two besties going at it, and then they can do whatever they want in their spare time.
No.
You didn't believe that.
No, it's not that. It's that you haven't watched the show at length, and you should have, because the woman was saying, my man's car belongs to...
Even girls, my man's D is mine, and mine alone. I ain't sharing this with no other. Some girls have the same position, and for us to sit here and pretend that they don't is ridiculous. Oh, I wouldn't take a man who cheats on me. Why? Would you take that same man if he's posting his penis everywhere? They probably wouldn't. They probably would.
to me because he's my man. And she was on OnlyFans. And then 20 minutes later, when she said she was on OnlyFans, I said, well, you're selling your body, that belongs to him because he's your man. And she laughed. She laughed. She laughed and she said, ha ha, yeah, that's probably true. If you watch the show, it will make sense. For you to come here with doing no research at all and then say, I don't understand what I'm talking about, but I've got this piece of paper with a few things printed off, that's why you're saying the silly things you're saying. You should watch the show, do some research.
Do you believe it?
You already answered
I've
that.
already answered the question.
Not really.
Of course I
Yes, you
have.
said- you said that's not
Can we
true.
move on? I've answered the question.
Do you believe that a woman's intimate parts belong to her male
Of
partner?
course not. I've just answered the question.
She's really trying here, even though he's not giving the answer that she wants. Personally, if you're in a monogamous relationship, they do, but that's because those parts of yours also belong to her. So it's an equivalent exchange. Your parts belong to me, my parts belong to you. Only you can see my parts, only I can see your parts. That's how it goes. That's how it has gone for a long time. So for us to sit and pretend that's not the way it goes is ridiculous. She doesn't have her husband's PP posted everywhere, and she's like, oh yeah, it's okay. You can all see my husband naked. It's okay. It's cool. No, you don't. No one does. What? It's
And does this woman believe that her man's car belongs to her? It's not a gendered argument. I really think that
Yeah.
it's genuinely sad that when the BBC has a chance to finally interview me at the end of
Lord.
that they don't come here with any kind of genuine openness to try and understand my influence over the world or the things I push or what I'm trying to teach the world or why.
That is true. I think a better statement for her is to come clarify what is your message? What do you stand for? What are you really trying to push to the youth? And why do you think you're misunderstood? This will allow him to clarify his position so she understands what he stands for. And then after understanding what he stands for, she can ask if these things he said align with that message he's trying to push. That would be that would be a better way to go about this discussion than to come in straight off with like these deep questions. It seems like you came in bad faith. Whereas if you come to seek to understand and then ask your questions later, someone's more likely and more willing to answer your questions because they feel like now you gave me a chance to articulate who I am and what I stand for, and now I can talk about these things, these hot topics that other people want to find out because I understand that you're not trying to have a gotcha moment from me. You're trying to really understand what I am about as an individual.
I'm a good influence on the world because I am a massively good influence. Instead, they come here with pieces of paper with printed out excerpts from 5-year-old podcasts taken out of context to attempt the same matrix attack on me, which has been attempted endlessly. Every single person in Legacy Media has already tried this, and it doesn't work. I really encourage you. I encourage you to read the comment section on YouTube when this goes on YouTube, and you will see that nobody believes a word you're saying.
The
This is
reason
garbage.
we're asking you about these comments is because we've got the chief executive of Rape Crisis naming you individually as spreading a dangerous ideology of misogynistic rape culture.
Absolutely.
The comments
That's
you
wild.
make that are
That's so wild because again, like the majority of the message is to respect people, allow people to be themselves and do what they want. And if those people don't align with the goals and values you have, you don't have to associate with them. It's cool. It's cool. Wish them happy, merry, go, live your best life. But he doesn't incite hate amongst for people. He doesn't say we have to hate people or hate on people. That's rough, man. That is like, ooh,
leading
Lord.
people to say things like this.
Absolute garbage.
National organisations
That part is
who are
garbage, I ain't gonna cap.
saying that are blaming you for increasing levels.
Just because national organizations are saying something does not make it true. We had national organizations during the crisis, the crisis, telling you to wear the mask. No, don't wear the mask. No, wear the mask. Half the time they're floundering upon themselves, and we're trying to take these as credible sources. Like, bro, come on.
Of misogyny, schools that are saying they are having increased incidents of girls being attacked, of female teachers being harassed
If that was
by
true,
pupils.
That's those are the people that are taking the message the wrong way. Those are the people that are. This is why parents are so important to curate the things that their kids listen to. If a parent was to listen to Andrew and Andrew speak and watch him in long form content, he can break down what the child should take from it, what the child shouldn't take from it, educate the child on what is satire and what is not, educate the child on what is essential from the message to take and what is unessential and should be disregarded. But it seems like parents are just not doing that autopilot because again, the family structure is broken and you have single parent households everywhere where they're all working and kids are stuck in school and all they're learning from is social media.
Because of you and your teaching.
well, that's
and your
absolute
influence.
that's absolute garbage.
and they live on these short attention span economies where they're on TikTok all day. So they obviously see loads of clips of Andrew in short form being controversial in a single minute, when in contrast, him in the podcast was being very productive, and he made a joke one time, and that joke is taken out of context. That joke will go to those kids, and they would take it as religious fact because they found it funny or they saw it on the thing and they want to replicate that. Again, it's a bit mad.
Never, ever encourage a student to
It's a
attack
bit
a
mad.
teacher, male or female, ever. I preach hard work, discipline. I'm an athlete.
There
I
you go.
preach anti-drug. I preach religion. I preach no alcohol. I preach no knife crime. Every single problem with modern society, I'm against. I'm teaching young men to be disciplined, to be diligent, to listen, to train, to work hard, to be exactly like me with
And he even says, to be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. So play your part. If you are a child in school, listen, learn. But again, don't do it blindly, but listen, learn from your parents, understand, absorb the information. And then once you have learned and absorbed and come to a point of greater understanding, then you can start being a person who talks and chats and, gives their 2
no
cents.
criminal record, never even yet charged in this 14-month Matrix investigation. And I'm saying that if men grew up like me, which are hardworking and diligent and emotional control and stoic, we're going to have a better society, not a worse society. To sit here and say that schools in England, which is a failing nation, which has knife crime going through the roof, violence going through the roof, men's mental health going through the roof, and they're going to all blame me because I appeared on the internet
You
1 year
saw an
ago,
image of
is
success.
disingenuous. It's disingenuous.
You
And
saw
also,
That's true. Because again, they need a scapegoat. They need a scapegoat for the problems that they can't handle themselves. And when people like Andrew pop up, it's an easy scapegoat to throw someone like him under the bus to say he's the reason why we have all these things in society that are falling apart. When in actual fact, it is the failing of the system itself.
also,
Because they actually don't care. They don't give a fuck.
Financial success
correct.
with a Bugatti and a cigar, but it comes with a side order of misogyny.
how does having a Bugatti and a cigar come with misogyny?
Because it's all mixed together in what you teach. You teach that if a woman comes home and accuses you of cheating, you should hit her with a machete, shove her up.
Is that what I teach?
Yeah. He's oh my gosh. Again, the context is just lost. He said if she was trying to attack you for cheating on her, he would defend himself, self-defense. And then he made the joke about how he would defend himself using machete. It's just low, very low IQ to sit here and have a conversation where someone was making a joke, as terrible as you think it may have been, for you to sit there and say he was genuinely gonna slash a woman with the machete. Yeah, come on, bro.
What you say.
No, if you actually watch the clip, it will be about the woman attacking me with a machete. As usual,
And then him disarming her and using it against them.
you've not watched the video, taken it out of context, flipped it, and attempted to attack me with a small excerpt. Let me tell you something, Lucy. I'm sure you're a very nice person. I'm sure you're a fantastic person. But if I were to take everything you've ever said online and just take small excerpts out of context, I could make you look like a misogynist. I guarantee it. In fact, I might actually do that. And then you're going to sit here and say, oh shit, I'm a misogynist because my clips have been taken out of context. If you refuse to watch anything at length and understand it, then that's what's going to happen.
The National Police Chiefs League for Violence Against Women, the NSPCC, Rape Crisis, Safer Schools, they are all naming you
It's
as
trends.
being behind.
It's trendy. Look at Bud Light and with the movement they've just adopted. It's because it's the trend. Some of these businesses don't believe the things they do. They just do it because they feel like they'll get support and it's trendy. For us to not understand this at this point is just ridiculous. If something is popping off, a lot of people want to do it because it's what the hot thing to do. If someone is being, shat on, the hot topic is let's shit on this person. So other people want to jump in and shit on them too. Has he probably committed crimes? 110%. 1,000%. 1,000%. But will he get convicted of the crimes? At this point, we don't know. But is the message he's preaching inherently negative? No, it is not. And the two have to be separate.
Epidemic of misogyny, even amongst private.
The message being preached is not negative. The individual themselves could have been doing negative things behind the scenes, but what they're saying proactively to people what to do is not negative.
School children.
The idea that I made primary school children misogynistic because I own a nice car. Is that your argument?
It's the misogyny that comes along with it.
Oh,
What
owning a
is
nice
the
car is
misogyny that
misogynist.
No, it's the
Got it.
misogyny that comes along with it.
How
What
does
is that?
misogyny come along with owning a nice car?
Because you have an image of financial.
I'm glad you're answering my
success.
question.
You have an image of financial success. So now being financial, you see that this is sick, bro. This is sick.
Now we finally got the
You
dynamic.
have
right.
an image of
Let's
financial.
see. Let's let her land this.
Excuse me. You have an image of financial success, but it comes along with attitudes towards women that are really problematic.
My
Oh my gosh. So this is basically what she's saying. Guys, don't be successful, because when you're successful, you won't. When you're successful, you will have an air about you that doesn't take shit from people around you, including women. You won't just let them walk all over you. You will have standards, boundaries, expectations for how things should be in your relationship. And if they want to abide by those expectations, they can stay. If they don't want to abide by those expectations, they can leave. How is that wrong? If you amass the wealth and you set your boundaries in the way you see them fit, and someone abides by those boundaries and wants to be with you, that is their choice. To take away accountability from the individual is so bad. It's so bad. So just because he got a nice car and got wealth, and the fact that he doesn't take shit from people and lives life on his own terms, now there's an air of misogyny because he has to listen to what, oh Lord, this is rough.
attitudes towards women is that women
This
should
is
be
rough.
protected and provided for, and I've said that at length. In fact, I've said that over 50 times online. You never mention it. I say that my girlfriend doesn't have to work unless she wants to. I take care of her. I die to protect a woman. I've talked about how I've stood up and faced a knife to protect a woman.
And in return, you want authority over her in the way you have over a child or a dog.
Absolutely not.
You want authority. You want authority. Look, this is the key, yeah? This is the key. Like, let me just, like, for my relationships, I would have to detail, like, look, we all understand in relationships, there's intrinsically someone who is the leader and there's intrinsically someone who is more of the follower. You might have, bouts or spats of where someone else is the leader, someone else is the follower, but generally there's someone who's in the general lead of the relationship. It's just what happens. It's just to find a genuine 50-50 equal partnership is very, very rare. Very, very rare. And that's why the divorce rate is so high, because it's rare. For us to sit here and say that this is not happening is just so wild. It's so wild.
I've said that women should be protected and provided for. And
In return, you want authority over her.
This is so wild. It's like you're not supposed to have boundaries anymore. It's like you're not supposed to have standards anymore. You're not supposed to have things that you need and expect from someone else. Like, we all have expectations. I'm pretty sure if her man stopped having sex with her, she would say, bro, I'm done. You're not performing. You're not doing the things I need you to do as a husband. Same here. If you're not doing the things I need you to do as a wife, what am I staying here for? You're not performing. Whether you decide to acknowledge what I'm saying or not, you have a choice still. You're a sovereign individual. You have a choice. But if you choose to say and follow what I'm saying, that is your choice. If you choose to leave, that is also your choice. And people are free to do so.
Because if you have
It's not by force.
responsibility for someone like a child or a dog, you say, you have authority over them.
if you want to go down this argument, we'll go down this nuanced argument. I said that if I have responsibility for her safety, I should have a degree of authority over her safety. Meaning, and let me explain my point. If I'm the one who has to fight and die to protect her, I'm the one who decides how we walk home. I'm the one who decides the route we take. Because it's unfair for her to say, I want to walk through the most dangerous neighborhood in the world, but you have to face the knives. That's what I've said. And then you're going to
That's facts. That is facts. Oh my God. I wonder how she's gonna jump out of this. But, like, come on, bro. Like, it's not like, I feel like people want it to be misogyny so bad. They want adversity so bad. Like, they want to be victims so bad. Like, they want to feel like there's misogyny so bad. Like, it's not. Like, trying to retire your wife early so she doesn't have to work a day in her life is you oppressing her. Now, that's rough, man. That's rough. That's rough. I would, if if roles were reversed, bro. I'm doing the cooking, I'm doing the cleaning. Babe, you work your life off, work for the household. I'll take care of the kids, goddamn it. I'd be the best damn child caretaker there is. I'll be cleaning the house to be spotless, food on deck. If I don't have to work a day in my life and I have to just work for my family and help my family succeed, bro, that's like the best job ever because you're seeing the fruits of your success happen right before you. And that's a job you're not really losing unless you're, moving mad.
I'm gonna sit here and pretend I'm trying to treat women like dogs, which is garbage. Every single man in the world who loves this woman understands that he has to protect her. And every single woman in the world likes the idea of a man who would protect her. If you were to say to most women home right now, do you want your husband to protect you in a violent attack? They'd say, yeah, of course. Nothing I've said is misogynistic.
If you said to most women, would you want to lose authority in the relationship, to not be treated as a free and legal equal to your partner?
I didn't say that. I said I need to have authority over the route we walk home.
When you compare women and the authority over women that you believe you should have to having authority over
it's like it's not sinking in. It's like the information comes in and she tries to reframe it in a way to purport the narrative that she feels needs to go out. It's like he says what it is, that, hey, if I'm responsible for your safety in this relationship, I need to be responsible for that and have authority to ensure that you are as safe as possible so that you don't risk your life and I don't risk my life.
a child or a dog, it's not the same because a woman is a free legal adult.
Correct.
You're equal.
Free legal adult, my equal. But if I had a girlfriend and we were walking home late at night and I said, let's not walk down that area, it's a bad area, I have to protect you if anything happens, I want to take the long way. And she said, no, I have to walk this way, even though it's the most dangerous route, I must.
Then what?
And then I would say, you're welcome to, you could do it, you're a free and legal equal, but I'm not going to walk with you and protect you. I think that I should be able to decide the route because I have an obligation. And my obligation as a man is to protect and provide for females. Everything I'm talking about is traditional
It's not rocket science, but people are out here treating like rocket science. Like, it's not. Why is it so complicated, man? People, I've noticed this. People love problems. They love problems. They have to have some type of adversity. It's not enough to just live in society and, be getting by and, have all the amenities, the technology, great healthcare. You have to be facing some type of oppression or adversity. And if it's not productive, it's damn near gonna be negative. 100% it's gonna be negative because you're gonna be wanting to feel special for doing absolutely nothing.
Gender roles, which 10 years ago, less than 10 years ago, would not be considered outlandish, would not be considered crazy, would not be considered...
Look at her, bro. She's tweaking. Oh, Lord.
And a lot of people
She's
have
sweating.
changed with the world. Please
This is
understand
mad.
there's a lot of women at home watching this right now who like the idea of their man sticking up for them, protecting them, and providing for them.
That's true.
Just because the world
That's
has
true.
gone crazy and the legacy media has gone crazy, most people at home are still relatively sane. And these are the people who are going to write on the comments that Andrew wasn't saying
There's
anything
a
that's
difference
outlandish.
between what's wrong with this
Sorry, there's Matthew changed the camera.
Lord have mercy. This is...
It's the whole world believes these things. It's fine.
So this is... I love this, man. I love this. I love that he did this and is able to drop his own
I'm having a
version.
nice conversation with Lucy. I'm enjoying it. So it's no problem.
Lucy is he in, bro. Lucy is he in. She's not trying to hear it. She's not trying to hear it. My man took it in stride and became positive. But look at Lucy. Lucy does not want to engage in any type of positivity. She is on a mission, bro. No lightheartedness here today. On smoke.
It's fine. We good?
Yes.
Tell me when.
Do you want to clap again?
Yes, no. We didn't stop, no?
I can do the clap. Now we good?
No.
Thank you. If a man broke into your house, wouldn't you want your husband to protect you?
There's a difference between conservative values and emotional control, coercive control.
We're
lack
talking
of
about
consent.
protection now, and I'm saying if someone broke into your house, would you want your husband to protect you?
It's not about conservative values or protection. It's what you're demanding in return for that.
Well, I'll give you this.
She's doing the same. She's doing the same thing she was accusing him of doing. You're not answering the question. You're not answering the question. The hypocrisy. The hypocrisy. If you want to set a precedent of how people should conduct themselves, conduct yourself that way first. So if he's asking you, would you not want your husband to protect you? You just say, yes, I would love my husband to protect me. Because he loves me. And he probably would. But for you to sit there and say it's not about the protect, bro, this is we're coping.
I don't know who your husband is. I don't know if he would stand up and protect you and die for you. But I'll give you this. If someone broke into this house right now and was a homicidal maniac, I would expect me and the other men in this room to stand up and face them while you and the other women in this room could protect yourselves. I would actually believe the men should go and engage the attacker. I believe that. And even though I don't know you, and you've come into my house with a hostile agenda, and you've come here to try and make me look bad, I would still stand up to protect you. I would still stand up to protect you because I believe that's my role as a man.
I am asking you about things that you have said that caused major national organizations, including the police, to worry about you by name. That's what I'm asking you about.
It's not what I say.
It's not about whether you protect your partner or not. It's
it is the
about
influence.
what you have said that has caused such concern in the UK. And I want to put it to you that you don't really care about the harm it causes.
That's not true.
Because
that's not true.
Making controversial statements like this online has made you a lot of money.
Okay, so first thing, I genuinely am a force for good in the world. You may not understand that yet, but you will eventually. And I genuinely believe I'm acting under the instruction of God to do good things, and I want to make the world a better place. I genuinely believe my legacy is a good legacy, and I believe that eventually, when the legacy media catches up, they're going to understand I'm a good, positive influence. I'm not interested in damaging the world for money, because if I was interested in damaging the world for money, I could have sold drugs, or I could make rap music and encourage everyone to stab each other like all the drill artists do.
Or you could make controversial statements online that attract a lot of followers who you then direct to your website where they pay to learn how to be like you.
I mean, I could make...
Where they learn to be financially independent, where they learn to elevate their lives, to become free of the state, to be able to provide for their households and their families. And brother, wow, they really don't want the men to just live life as happy. They want them to be at the bottom of the hill, working the shitty jobs the rest of their lives.
I could make jokes online. Who doesn't?
Lord.
I mean, I could make a joke online.
Are you saying that all the controversial things you've said are jokes?
No, I'm saying that these organizations and the BBC who are going to sit here and pretend that I am the face of damaging the youth is absolutely garbage. It's completely disingenuous.
I'm
sorry, we
have agreed to do an interview where you are going to ask questions that are going to give us the opportunity to clarify some things. These are very loaded questions. And so far, I have arranged this and I'm talking right now. So, these are very loaded questions, and this is not being discussed, and this is not a conversation that we agreed to.
We were very clear that the questions
You're sitting there and just accusing, we're not here to face new allegations. This has all been discussed, answers have been provided, so if we could please move on from this side of the interview, I would appreciate it.
I would like to hear what Andrew's got to say about the fact that when you make controversial statements, it attracts people to follow you, and then you direct them to your website where they pay you a monthly fee.
But I think is the stuff he's saying generally true? Is the majority of the stuff he's saying true? Yes. That's why people are listening, because the majority of the stuff he's saying is true. That's why people are listening. That's why people need parents in their lives to help decipher the good, the majority good stuff and the small bad stuff that you don't need to engage in.
To learn how to be like
Lord.
You. And so the more controversial statements you make, the more money you get.
The fact that that's the path you've outlined to one, my online university, and two, my presence on the internet, the fact that you believe that's the path just shows you've done absolutely zero research. Genuinely zero research.
Okay, so how many of the people who sign up for Hustlers University come to you through your social media?
Genuinely zero research.
How many of the people who sign up for Hustlers University come to you
through
your social media where you direct them to the website?
And Lucy, I encourage you to go out there, do some genuine research, watch my
Did
videos.
you answer my question?
Of course, watch my videos at length and truly understand what I'm doing.
How many of the people who sign up for Hustlers University at $49.99
100%
come to you because they see your social media comments?
There's an
100%.
online school called Hustlers University, which I don't own. I influence for, along with many other influencers, and they sign up via a website which I don't own. And once again, that's nothing to do with me. And you're going to sit here and say that I made a joke.
You were the
I made a joke online 4 years ago because a woman said that she owned her man's car, and you made a joke, and that means that you, because you have a Bugatti, are the most misogynistic, dangerous man in the world. This is going down a path of absolute insanity. It's not true. None of this is true.
Wow.
I don't hurt people.
These guys are good at deflecting, both of them, man. This is like...
offensive and
That's not why I'm renowned.
comments
I'm
about
actually renowned.
relations.
I'm actually renowned for helping young men, because we talk about there's a men's mental health crisis, and we talk about we pretend to care that men are upset. But as soon as I discuss men's issues, it's misogynistic. It doesn't have to be gendered. Just because I believe men have a point of view and men have rights and men are allowed to think and believe and act in a way that helps them internally, that doesn't mean it's anti-female. In fact, I believe it's actually pro-female. I think when a man is true to his influence and true to his essence, and he's good within himself, he's a positive influence in the world, and he's positive for the women around him.
So
Just
why
because
are
I
so
discuss
many
men's
women-
issues, people say, oh, you're anti-woman. I'm not anti-woman, I love women.
Why are so many women saying that when their boyfriends start following you,
They're not.
they experience more control?
So many.
They experience
How many?
more abuse.
How many?
Abuse. Bro, when guys realize I was a simp and now I have boundaries and I shouldn't be tolerating the disrespect I was tolerating before, and now it's like a problem. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Holy shit. Do we see the level of like craziness in this world? That the minute you realize, oh, I've been a doormat, let me respect myself and have some standards for myself. Now that's a problem. Now that's misogyny, because now I've got standards and expectations. That beforehand, I just let you walk all over me. And now me thinking, oh, you know what? I've been treated wrong in this relationship. I've been taken advantage of myself. Let me have a spine and set some boundaries for myself. Oh, now you're becoming toxic. Now I don't like who you are. You're becoming abusive because you have standards and boundaries. You are a free sovereign individual. If you don't like the standards and boundaries, you can leave, man. You can leave.
Enough.
Enough.
Well, this is the first time I've heard of it. So, in fact...
One is too many.
Oh, of course. In fact, I've seen thousands and thousands of
One
comments
is too
and
many.
endless emails from women praising
Doesn't
the
it worry you?
praising the fact that their sons are listening to me,
Does it not
praising
worry
the
you?
fact that their
The
husbands
things I'm
listen to me.
saying, does it not worry you?
It would worry. It would
You're
worry.
not concerned about it.
It would.
No,
It would worry me
what?
if I was genuinely down.
No. Like, oh my gosh. There's people who are going to be damaging regardless of who they listen to. There's people who go to church and beat their wives. There's people women who go to church and beat their husbands. There's people who go to church and disrespect. There's people who go to the mosque and do deplorable stuff. The people are out there. But the message is good. Just because those people who are subscribed to that message are doing bad stuff doesn't mean it's the message's fault. That could be the individual's own problems. It could be the individual's own fault. The lack of accountability here is crazy.
Damaging the world. But for you to sit here and say, Andrew, you become the most Googled man in the world, you have billions of views, and one woman, is now saying that her husband is not the same man she wants him to be, when thousands and thousands of people are saying the opposite, well then I would say
I've
that's...
presented you with case after case after case, with quotes
Case
after
after
quote,
case
people who
after
are
case.
genuinely concerned
Some
about
correct,
the impact
though.
you're having, and you brush it off as if it's nothing.
No, what you have done is come here with an agenda, you've come here with loaded questions, you've come here with things taken out of context, you come here with things that you don't understand are satirical, and then you're going to also sit and say that one woman said that her boyfriend changed when he watched one of your videos, and then I don't know what you expect me to say to that. That's
sarcastic and jokes.
No.
That's how you explain
no,
the comments you
no,
make.
for you to sit
Would
down
you
and
like to apologise for any of them?
for you to sit down and for you to sit down it's fine, no, it's fine, it's easy. For you to sit down and say that one woman said that her boyfriend watched an Andrew Tate video and now he won't do the dishes, or whatever your argument is, and that I'm somehow the worst, most dangerous man in the world because I have a car, it's just disingenuous. And I'm enjoying this interview very much.
This is
because
hilarious.
This shows,
Lord
it
have
shows
mercy.
the world. It's great. It shows
It
the
does.
world the truth about the legacy media, because they beg me for interviews. They beg me. You have been begging me for months. Please, we need to be relevant. And then you come here with loaded questions, trying to paint a picture of me, which is completely and utterly false.
That's
I am
true.
a good positive influence for the
Nod
world.
your head.
The things I teach men
Lucy,
are
nod your head. Come on now.
discipline, self-respect, hard work, obeying authority, listening to your fight coach, working hard in school, making as much money as possible in your job. If you actually watch the things I say,
That's
if you
true.
actually watch my comments about women,
That's
I've
true.
done long podcasts for hours long about females, talking about protecting for them, providing for them, how I believe a woman should be treated in a relationship. I've done all of this, but you don't watch any of it, and
Doesn't
then you
watch
come
any
here
of
and
it.
ask me to answer questions I've answered at length thousands of times.
Since you came out of custody, There seems to have been a lot about your charity work.
Correct.
On your social
There's
media.
I've always done the charity work, but now I'm promoting online.
There seems to be a real shift.
Yeah.
I wonder what's behind that.
Well, I've always done the charity work. I've been doing the charity work for years. I believe that it's my legacy to leave a positive influence on the world, and I've been doing charity work for over 5 years. Post my incarceration, my unfair, unjust incarceration, may I add. Post that, I've made it more clear the charity work I'm doing. But this is, once again, very interesting. I spend $25 million a year feeding children. Men, male children, and female children. In Turkey, in Syria, in Iran, and Iraq. I literally spend $25 million a year feeding children. And I'm still the worst man in the world because 4 years ago I made a sarcastic comment.
Because some people would look at that and say, okay, so before you got money from attracting people to your website by making controversial comments, but that might have got you into trouble. And so now you're looking for a new market. You're looking for a new market of followers who are attracted by a different sort of persona.
I've always done the charity work, so that is obviously incorrect. And I have proof that I've always done the charity work, so you're wrong. Firstly. I believe
You're
that
wrong.
if you have a lot of wealth, you should help people, and I'm helping people. I also think it's very, very interesting that you
Lord.
cannot find another celebrity in
This
the
is
UK or
reaching.
anywhere else who's spending £25 million a year feeding children in war-torn countries. I'm doing that, and I've been doing that for a long time without even mentioning it. I never even said it. And now that I've said it, people are going to attack me for it and say that it's disingenuous. The person in Sudan who's eating the meal, do you think they believe it's disingenuous? No, I think they feel pretty good that Andrew Tate fed them. And to sit here and say that I'm a bad person now because I'm manipulating charity, because I'm using charity, I'm just trying to do good in the world. That's all I've ever been trying to do.
Oh,
When women speak out against you online, disagree with what you say, they describe being bombarded with rape threats, with death threats, trolling.
but he doesn't encourage people to do that. That's people off their own back, off the skin of their own back, doing that because they feel some type of loyalty and affinity to defend someone they like. This happens with anyone. Your mom could tell you, hey, don't beat people up at school. And someone could tell that woman's son a bad your mama joke, and he gets upset that you insulted his mother, who he loves very much, and beat that kid up. That is his choice, even though his mother said, hey, don't do this. But he made a decision to do that himself. Accountability needs to be brought back. He's not encouraging people to go and do that. He's not. People are doing that off the skin of their own back.
Followers. Would you like to say anything to your followers about
Sure.
how to behave in that situation?
Absolutely, correct. I would
Smart.
love to do that. First things first, I've yet to see a female stand up and argue with me online. I don't ever see hardly any. The only women who message me agree with it. Secondly, I don't think that anybody who disagrees with me, male or female, should be trolled. I don't think they should be insulted or attacked. I think the ideas should be discussed openly and fairly and maturely. It doesn't matter if a man agrees with me or disagrees with me, or a female. I don't think my followers should come along and attack her, and if my followers are doing that, I'm upset by that. But let's make a very important clarification. That's not my followers. That's the internet. If you were to log into any video game lobby, I don't play video games, and someone were to sit there and say something stupid, they would be trolled with similar comments. That's the unfortunate reality of the internet as a whole. That's nothing to do with me.
True.
But I encourage all of my followers to engage in open discourse and be fair and honest and talk in a way which is mature. There's no need to troll anybody, male or female.
Okay.
Kathy, anything?
A couple of things. I wonder if it would be worth giving Andrew one more opportunity to consider whether or not he would like to apologise or give an indication of how he feels about the allegations that he has negatively influenced young people in the UK. And secondly, I think we should put on record that this interview is taking place in your house because you're under house arrest. If it were not for that, then we would have chosen another location, I'm sure. We would have negotiated that between us. So I think that's just worth putting on record.
Okay. So just to put on the record then, you've said that you've invited us into your house.
Correct.
We're here because you're under house arrest.
Correct.
If you were free to leave, we would have negotiated a more neutral setting.
Don't you think, as the BBC, it would be very interesting to come here and discuss the fact that I was put in a dungeon for 92 days and then locked in house arrest without charge? Don't you think that's a far more interesting conversation than old YouTube snippets? Don't you think that would be interesting?
You're here under house arrest because there's an ongoing investigation into rape and human trafficking allegations against you.
Correct. I've been incarcerated without charge. And don't you think...
The rape allegation
It's been dropped.
has been incarcerated for.
Correct. So I'm incarcerated without charge, and I think that would be a far more interesting conversation than, I guess, Julian Assange is incarcerated without charge, and nobody's interested in that either. So if you actually wanted to do some genuine journalism and investigation, we could talk about the fact that an innocent man who has yet to be charged with a crime has had his liberty deprived of him. And I think that would be a far more interesting angle than talking about me being the most dangerous man in the world because I own a car.
And this question about
Oh,
schools
Lord.
being very worried about your influence.
Yeah.
Boys in primary school, or boys as young as 11, are quoting you at school,
Yeah.
attacking girls, refusing to respect female teachers.
Yeah.
Would you like to say anything about that?
I'd like to say a lot. First things first, as I've repeatedly said, and the only reason I keep repeating it is because I'm sure this interview will be edited. I am a positive force for the world, and I teach children discipline. I teach the world discipline, male or female, of any age. And a lot of women listen to me as well. 40% of the people who listen to me are actually female. Secondly, I do understand with my massive influence, and I am now the one of the most influential people on the planet, that I do have to be slightly more careful with things I say. I'm not going to disagree with that. The idea that I said something 5 years ago on a video that got 300 views...
So what do you mean, being slightly more careful?
I'll give you an example. Some of the jokes I made 4 or 5 years ago on a YouTube channel that got 300 views, I would no longer make...
Like what?
Like the OnlyFans joke, the one you mentioned repeatedly. When she said, my man's car is my car. And then she said she did OnlyFans. And I said, what do you sell on OnlyFans? She said, my tits. And I said, well, those are your man's tits. As a joke, ha ha ha, everybody laughed. The fact that I could do that on a podcast 5 years ago and it only got 300 views, now I understand I'm the most influential man on the face of the planet. I would be more careful with certain things I say. That doesn't mean the things I originally said were genuinely out to harm people.
Do you really believe you're the most influential man on the face of the planet?
I'm the most Googled person on the planet.
Do you believe you're the most influential man on the face of the planet?
I'm the most Googled man on the planet.
I think we're done.
She's like, I'm done. I don't want to be here anymore.
Thanks, Lucy. It was enjoyable. Nice to meet you.
Lucy's a hater, bro. She can't even say thank you for the interview, man. I appreciate it. Da, da, da. She's just like, I hate your guts, burn in hell. Look at she's like gritting her teeth, man. Wow.
No, it was fun. It was good. I enjoyed it.
Lucy is on fire, bro. She is, bro. Her husband has got a tough night, or he had a tough night ahead of him. He had a tough night ahead of him, or call on the phone. She was probably talking his head off. He said it, and he did, and then he just wouldn't answer the questions. And then, but did he ask you questions, babe? Yeah, he did. And did you ask the questions? Well. Oh my gosh. Why are people like this, man? Just people in general. Why are people like this, man? Like, yes, my guy is most likely done criminal things in the past. Yes. Is he gonna get charged for them? As we heard, the rape thing has been already dropped, so that's one thing already dropped. So the only thing that remains is the criminal organization stuff and all the money laundering stuff. And if that doesn't make it, then my man is scot-free. Like scot-free. So then what are we sitting here debating and arguing about? Like realistically, what are we actually sitting here debating and arguing about? It's mad. It's mad how the world has come to a point where we can hear the message in its entirety and understand that the message is of discipline, to work hard and become a sovereign individual. And yet when people put those boundaries in their lives, other people are now like, oh, no, I don't like who you become now, because now you value yourself and you want to elevate yourself. And now, you really want to uphold me to certain standards and boundaries that are conducive to your success. It's wild, man. It is wild. Yeah. Do I think he's going to go to jail? At this point, it's not looking likely because... like, it should have happened a long time ago if the evidence was really strong. And the fact that the ladies who were involved in this case, the two ladies, American ladies, have left and not really probably engaging in this case because they probably don't want the notoriety. It'd be too much for them. So they're probably just thinking, what, F this. I don't need this in my life. I'm just going to, keep traveling and live my best life. And, fair enough. They're doing what they were doing. They're sovereign individuals. They do what they want to do. And we see how this progresses. When all the cases are dropped, it's going to be very, very interesting how this whole situation progresses. But yes, I do feel that you know he has done some wrong stuff. He has done wrong things in the past. But is his message bad that he's pushed out? No, the message is not bad. Whether he himself as an individual has done wrong things, his message that he's pushed out is not bad. And the people who are doing bad things in his name, those are people doing bad things on their own name. The same thing happens in almost all religions. People do bad things in the name of the religion, but they don't represent the values of that religion as is written in the scriptures. So we can't sit here and then say that they represent the religion, because they're clearly not taking what is said in the book as valuable, because they feel like their own interpretation of it is more valued than how it actually is written. So it's just very interesting, man. But anyway, guys, this has been the reaction to Mr. Andrew Tate's BBC interview. Let me know down in the comments, guys, what you thought of the interview, whether you thought this was a good interview. They were both deflecting very hard. There were deflections on both sides, I noticed. But the characterization of Andrew as just a bad individual, point blank, from start to finish, is just, it's a fallacy, because a lot of the stuff he does say is true, and that's why a lot of people did listen to him or still listen to him, is because he did say true things and true statements. He highlighted things that have always been highlighted. He didn't reinvent the wheel. He just spoke about things that people are too shy to speak about anymore, and then now it's like a big problem. Like people in other countries are still living like this, and now we're acting like it doesn't happen. Like, oh wow, this is this new era of misogyny. Like, bro, it's mad. Anyway, it's mad. This like, it's interesting how certain cultures think that they're superior to other cultures. They feel like they have the higher ground, and they feel like they have the moral superiority. And again, we're all human, and if you're atheists, it is what it is. But Jesus is king. Read the Bible, and you know, live your life through the word, because that way, you know, you're living a peaceful life of respect to others, providing for your family, respecting others and what they do, and yeah, wishing the best for everyone in the world. It's been your boy. I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Peace.